So this is gonna be short and sweet, but let's take a look. So today we're gonna review the Gladiators versus Dragons, and like this is Havana during the playoffs, and we saw like Gladiators. They basically played this double shield comp for a pretty damn long time, but we're also going to see like well we also see like dragons like they ran this comp like occasionally, but like on this map they just ran like this ball tracer sombra comp, which is a really powerful comp like against this matchup because this comp can control space better than this comp, like especially when it has ults to use or when it can fight in shorter sight lines. This comp, like even though it can take positions before and like use them before the dragons can, this is pretty mobile, so like Fate and Flood and Lip they can stage really quickly, and like they can rapidly just collapse onto like Glad's backline as well as Bird Ring, prevent him from popping off, and also like Kevsters who's probably gonna play more defensive than offensive here. So we're gonna see like Glad's they're just trying to push cart to the corner. Like this is gonna be like the first step. Because like if the cart's like over here, then you can't really like influence anything beyond this corner. So like your backline won't be able to fire here. If dragons are just holding this corner passively, then they're just going to spam out whatever like 6v5. Like dragons are trying to hold like this area of the map. And like if Glads want to win, they have to spread apart. They have to try to get sightlines onto like space. Well, space and Kevster, their main job is really going to be trying to enforce the space, poking out Fate as much as possible. While like Bird Ring with all the space that like Space and Kevster should be making, they should like he should be looking for angles and trying to like poke out Lee Gun and Izuyaki, force like dragons to like Gress or Peel. So over here, we're gonna see Kevster, like what Kevster, and also like over here, let's take a look at Kevster. So what Kevster should be doing is he should be trying to apply like pressure on Fate as much as possible. Right here, or right here, like it looks like Glads are trying to aggress onto Dragons' backline, but okay, let me take a look. Take a look at how Dragons like deal with this. How does Lee Gon die? Oh, so like over here, Glads are actually like trying to push dragons back, and normally, like in this type of battle, dragons wins because they have like heroes that are better at close range. Even though this comp can fight at close range, dragons like they're gonna have like a good burst of damage that they can get with Fate. But right here, just looks like they didn't relieve the pressure like soon enough. Like right here, they could have they had like the map control, they had the angles, and Glad's like they didn't really do their homework, to be honest. They didn't try to clear Fleta as much as possible. Which like by clearing Fleta, you can't perfectly clear Fleta because he's gonna receive like break packs, but you can at least force him like Lip should not be here. Like Lip should not be allowed to be here. Fleta, like you can at least like put some shots so he like backs up a bit, so you do have some breathing room to poke out Dragons' backline. But Glads, it didn't look like they really set up for this fight really well. But what they could do is they could like actually just collapse on Birdring right now, like, and that would force space to peel back instead of pushing like the core. And if they decide to go for a trade, then this comp can Void can just use cooldowns. Yeah. Should Kev focus on forcing DPS out? Well, yeah, Kev should focus on marking Fleta and Fate as much as possible. Like Kevster's job is really just to make space for Bird Ring to pivot and get angles onto onto like dragging this backline. If he doesn't get that space, then like Bird Ring will have to like play like around here, and that's really bad. Like a Hanzo positioning over here, this is bad. But like, well, but like Bird Ring's kind of allowed to like position like somewhere a bit better, and like if like okay, if Fate gets forced out here too early, then that just means that like Glads wins because Fate will be forced out. Fleta can be poked out by like they should be putting some pressure onto Fleta. Kevster should, and then like that would allow Bird Ring to rotate to here, potentially even the high ground because like Hanzo, I mean like because like Dragon's comp isn't too good vertically, like compared to Winston comp, and Bird Ring can just pop off. But I want Dragons to realize that they have an opportunity on their hands because Glads did not. Storm Arrow can force Fade out well or just play with bad ball players. It depends on like the thing, but Storm Arrow really is really good at punishing balls who are bad at like aggressing. So, for example, like if you most ladder balls, what they do is well, not Fate, but most ladder balls, what they do is they look for a target, they pile drive on them, and then they're like, oh shit, why am I being forced out? Like, if they want to do that, they just play Winston instead. But, like, Ball's more of a disruption-based hero that, like, excels more, like, when you want to sit back and poke, or, like, when you just want to look for opportunities and control the map rather than just, like, get kills immediately. And, like what Fate would do, like what really good balls like Fate will do is Fate will just, instead of like pile driving immediately, Fate rarely uses pile drive actually. He only uses it when he sees like a good opportunity. Otherwise, he just shoots from an angle. He just rolls through. He just like grapples and look for these points where he can just roll like around and keep boop people all over the place, so that like they're caught into Izuyaki's Discord, and Fleta can like pounce on it along with Lep. So so like Fates has to be like pretty careful about like all the damage that Glads can still do at close range, but Fate's really good at that. Would Slam be a death sentence for him? If there's no good opportunity, he just gets stunned and storm arrowed and rocked. So yeah. So like this comp is not like the most pokey comp. It isn't like 100% poke. It's like I'd say 80% poke, but like there is a bit of there are like stuns. There is a bit of good close range damage. Hanzo as well. So Fate has to like take it a bit slower than he would do against like if they're running Bap Zen. This is Ash. This is like some shitty thing like double hit scan. Then like maybe like Ash Widow like it would some silly cheese like that. Then Fate can absolutely just int into the back line. But over here, Fate has to be a bit careful. Fate like would have to like boop players first. Fate would just have to like help his team force out key cooldowns, and that's what he's going to look for. He's gonna look for either cooldowns, like if Brig used stun, if Space uses rock, if like Immor is used, then like that's like could be a catalyst for Fate to just hard into the enemy team. Or like if someone's out of position, like for example, arguably you could say Bird Ring, or if you at least pressure Bird Ring a bit, then he'll be in a worse position. So like the ball comp's job isn't really to hard int, it's kind of like the poke version of dive. It's instead of like hard diving, you're more like taking it slow. You're using your positions. You're forcing out cooldowns. You're prodding vulnerable like positions, and like once you find like a some wastage of cooldowns or like some bad positioning, then that's when you hard engage with like your cooldowns. And usually hard engage would involve pile drive, adaptive shield. You want to save that for as long as possible. Like if you can get value out of it, then use it, but otherwise you just save it. Making space like for DPS by taking Emmy stuns and Hanzo's cooldowns. Yeah, like basically they're what Fate's gonna do is he's just gonna boot players into like Zen sightlines and like the DPS sightlines and like out of position of like peel, so they have to use cooldowns. And like when that happens, that means that I'll actually show like an example, a really good example, but like basically Fade's job in the first half of the fight is really just going to be forcing out cooldowns by using grapple mainly. That's the main tool of the trade. Grapple, like Like Ball's Boop is the main tool you use to make opportunities in this Ball Tracer Sombra comp. It's not Pile Drive, it's Grapple. And Fate does use Grapple like a lot. Like he just uses it on cooldown, in fact. And by booping players out of position, you force them out of cover. And like what happens is Yaki discords them, flat out like soft pressures them. Like the lip also will try to like farm off that, and that would force like either a break pack or like some sort of peeling cooldown, like DM for example. No DM here, but like or like a personal cooldown, like recall, leap, like Hanzo leap, and that type of thing. So that's how so like the ball comp, that's like how it really works and why Shanghai's so good at it. So over here, now the problem with this is like Glads get to push Dragons' core like really hard, and guess what? Dragons, they aren't like matching that with the same commitment. And like sometimes you just say, hey, if my backline's being pressured, I have rally, I have trans, I'm just gonna leave them to their own devices. I'm just going to like or play the waiting game. Try to like just like reduce the collateral damage by holding space and preventing anyone from using this distraction. Like let's say Birdring wants to take an angle because Zen's too distracted to discord him. Well, you want to prevent that. You don't want to like play passive, but you want to play defensive. And then like eventually, once your trans is over, once your rally's over, you go for like this counter blow. You go for like you know, with your last 3 seconds of rally, you just push in, you just power drive, they use cooldowns to push you. You forced out cooldowns, boom. Like, you finish the fight. But right here, this is not the case. Like, Dragons should not have allowed Gladiators to be aggressive as they were. And it looks like they were caught by surprise, even, because Glads tend to be more aggressive than other teams when playing this double shield comp. So, like, Dragons was probably expecting a really slow poke battle, which like Glads wanted to take, and like they're just gonna like roll around, force out cooldowns, and they did not expect Glads to just push them suddenly. So this could be like Glads Dragons not used to like Glads' tempo fully. So like right here, the right response would be to go for a bird ring, force him out. This would force like at least a pack and maybe like a stun or even Immor if you're lucky. Like Immor's already forced out, and then like you can just like pile drive, roll off the cart, and burst someone down with your ball tracer Sombra. So but like they finally engaged, but it's too late. They got like it's a 6v4. There's no pressure from the front. And Fate has to reset here. But all right. So Glads look like they are in a good start. They have a good start, but like Dragons have one more fight, and like this is probably the only good fight that Glads got. So I mean double shield holding W into Sig and Brig. Like what the fuck do you do? Well well like it's scary. It's scary. Like Dragons, like my positioning, like so damn close to the team, like it looks like they're just like wanting to engage over here, but for some reason they're a bit too passive and they don't. And like they're expecting like their backline to survive for some reason, but they really don't, so they have to fight it 4v6. Like normally, when like the double shield team is pushed up this far and you're not ready to like brawl yet, like let's say your ball and tracer is still not ready, or you want to like extend the fight a bit, because like you want your ball tracer is like looking for is like currently trying to deal with someone out of position or something, or trying to force out cooldowns, trying to boop, then I would expect them to back up to over here, and this would be safer. There's no one on the high ground right now. They don't want to be on the high ground because they can't rotate to the high ground, because like if they do, then there's just ball and tracer just gonna collapse on them. So I think definitely Dragons could have backed up to here while like Fate was just spinning around. Like you can't rush the fight. You can't just like on the other hand, like you can't really rush the fight. You're fighting against Brig, Bap with Immor. Sigma has a stun, and also like Tracer can like make things a bit difficult, can complicate things. So definitely they could have just played it slow. They could have backed up all the way to here. Like if you say I'd like that fight happen sooner, or I get the fuck away. Um, like yeah, like you just if you're this close to like Orisa and Sigma and you're alone, then you back up. You don't want you don't want to use your cooldowns as well because you don't want you to get cooldowns forced out just to hold like the space unless you're planning to engage. And even then, if you use cooldowns just to hold space, well, you have no more cooldowns for the actual engage, and that's like bad tempo management. So right here, definitely a big mistake by Dragons. They should have held here, use their fact that they can still control the space to, you know, make sure that Sigma doesn't get like poked out by like this high ground, and like eventually they can just go in and push and brawl. So let's take a look at this fight. What did Glads do wrong? So over here, I think Glads are, well, the backline is over here. I think on the other hand, Glads are like kind of playing too aggressive here. Like two forwards, like what they should be doing. I mean, like I don't know where like the back line. I don't know if Chu's just looking for. Oh, Chu has a window. That might be why. Like he wants to go for like this, cheesy window play. But this comp like also, like, Kevster's, like, marking Fate, which is good. Not sure where Birdring is, so... I mean, this is an okay setup from Glads. It's a bit close to the enemy. Like, the back... It's pretty easy for, Dragons to access the backline, especially, like, when Fleta's, like, over here and, like, ready to, like, just go here. But, on the other hand, there is a long sight line he has to cross. So, this is an okay setup from Glads, I guess. Well, even though I think, like, still putting Shu, like Shu's like far away from this flank, and maybe like they scout out like dragons coming out this flank, and they're at least positioning like support on the opposite flank, which is good, like good scouting. So actually, like I don't think there's anything wrong with like the setup from Glads. That being said, it's not their setup that'll probably win. It's like if they make any bad mistakes. Oh, that falls down. So over here, I'm not sure why Shu like positions over there because if you're playing double shield, like you cannot let your bat be distracted because like you're not playing ball, you're not playing hog, you're playing like you know you'll take like quite a bit of damage. Like you don't have any like self sustain. Like you have cooldowns, but you don't want to use fortify just to like not die. Like you want to ideally have that fortify for like a brawly push. So like the fact that like Shu's like positioned over here, this is a mistake. And there's no reason for Skew to position here or Shu to position like over here. Like what they should do is either Shu positions like with like skewed over here. It would be fine because like there is like quite a sight line that Fate has to cross, and they don't really have ultimates to fight with, so it's gonna be hard for Fate and like Fleta to like stage like on like Shu. So maybe Shu could position here. I'd be like it would be a bit dicey, but like skewed can like I mean like eventually like he'll get the window, and then like skewed can like this skewed can like help him survive, and like you can have space like take this angle as well. But over here Shu rotates like over here, and like given that you're not running like a diva, that's really risky business from Shu here, because like if you're running diva it might be fine, like you can have diva peel this off, um and like oh they have fate like going this direction, but you can at least like survive for like a bit. And given that like your Zen isn't really in a good position yet, you can't confirm that kill. But like the fact that they're able to go on like Shu, like it's big. Like look at what happens to like Dragon like Gods' like front line. They just punish like the splits. And like Shu actually kills Fate and he pops the window. As you can see. How does Kevstar die? What's stopping Shu from top left? Um, I think it's because, like, first Birdring's already taking this angle, like, over here. So, like, sure, Shu could go over here and try to poke from here. That would be fine. I think that'll be fine. It's mm, it's just that well, like it is kind of in the open. Like they're running Sigma as well, so like though Sigma could be a worry. And also you won't have LOS into you like skewed, so like that could be another like potential worry. If they're running Diva, maybe if they're running like Sigma and then it's a bit overzealous. That being said, if he had like left shift, he could have jumped up here. He could have just popped like left shift if he needed to, like for himself, and then he just pops the window. That might be okay, especially as dragons have no ults, but like it's nonetheless it's better than positioning like over here. Like far away from your brig, which means that like dragons can just like pressure like Shu, and like that wouldn't like leave that would leave like the front line unable to like get healed and aggress as well, so they have to peel. But okay, let's see. Over here, like they get him more forced out, but like it looks like space is not healing. Like sure, like Sig's like not that good at peeling, sure, but like compared to a diva, but on the other hand, like you can't really just leave your flex support like this unless you know that like you have rally and you can just out brawl them. You can just like win this trade. Otherwise, like it's so important to not only make sure your flex support like stays alive, but can actually do his job. If he's like unable, like the fact like they have a window. They have a window, so like if they're able to keep Shu not only alive, like alive is not like keeping your backline alive is not only what matters. It's also that they can actually not do shit, like they're not distracted. So yeah, like skewed is really far forward here, but like given that they have like a poke ultimate and a poke ultimate coming up, they should focus on like protecting those like pillars of their like you know of their strategy, like if Bap can survive and pop window and shoot from the window as well, that's the thing. Then that's gonna be like real. That's gonna play into Glad's favor a lot. Or like if like Muse can actually like get heals because Shu isn't like being occupied by Ball and Tracer, then Muse will farm like Bongo before like maybe EMP, and EMP's coming soon. But if you have like a lot of poke on these long sightlines, it can stop Lip from farming that easily. But like they're just refusing to like I'd be concerned to go that far. Like this is too aggressive. This is like there's no reason he should be here. He doesn't have rally. That's like the thing, and his team wants to be poking. So like this is like him, like he's playing like for the wrong strategy. Like his team strategy is not to W into the enemy. It's to poke. It should be, but like this comp's better at it. This comp's just better at like these close range like engagements. In general, that is. So over here, like, big mistake from Shu, like, he gets no value from window, and, like, he gets distracted for, like, several seconds, which allows, dragons to just hard push, like, Glad's tank line. So over here, plus he could help keep window from getting shut down. Like, yeah, like, that as well. Like, he needs to be protecting the window, not, like, going on his own. So over here, like dragons are coming up to like a lot of like ults. So like Glads, they have two choices to play like down. So fortunately, like when you're down in ult, it's better to have like a high poke comp because it gives you the option to play slow and bait out aggression. And like over here, they have like rally and like they can have like tools for like the eventual counter engage if they decide to play slow. And like Glots could certainly like play slow here. They could try to set up like a bit more back and just play the angle game and spread out a bit, but like just play the angle game, try to poke out the back line, and like just try to force dragons into like a bad engage. And like if dragons play this well, they win. Like absolutely. Well, they win. But yeah, it's also like it's good neutral to just play it more slowly instead of like just Wing into the enemy team ever you find an opportunity. Because like with this comp, CC and range has win conditions. without ults. Like yeah, yeah, like you can with this comp. Like if Bird Ring gets a good shot, well, that's that could be a team fight win, especially when you have like some ults. You know, it's not like you're like down every ult. You're not like 6 versus 0. Can't get the W if you always unless you always W. Well, that the Atlanta Rain strategy. Um, so over here, this is like an interesting bait play. So like they're bait like Muse is going forward and like what? So like it looks like he's popping a bongo. He's baiting like dragons to just solo EMP Muse, and they're like, oh shit, like since like he's gonna absorb all the aggression, and we're just gonna push and we're gonna like punish him with like dragon or whatever. But there's gonna be like some problems with this strategy. So let's actually see this fight. So over here, I think what Glad's strategy here is to like, you know, bait the EMP, bait them to all focus Muse, like, and then like, Glads will try to spread apart and just try to get picks from this distraction. There's a couple problems with this plan. Like, first of all, you're not starting from a really good position. You're not starting from like a good position by any means. Like if you win a fight on defense, then maybe you can do it because you can set up positions like beforehand, and you can hope that like instead of like clearing the angles a bit first before EMPing, you just EMP your Orisa, and then like you just take your power positions and you just shoot them. But like secondly, second, like well, dragons don't have to fall for this trap. Like they could solo EMP Muse and just devote like 1 or 2 players to killing Muse. It's not like Muse alone is like a big threat. Like especially when he's hacked and no cooldowns. Like Orisa without cooldowns is like shit. So like anything without cooldowns is shit. But like Orisa, like this Orisa isn't gonna do much. It's not much of a threat. So that was so like they could just focus on like you know, punishing Muse, send 1 or 2 players, while like the rest of the Dragons' backline, they just like form like a defensive perimeter and prevent Glads from spreading out and taking advantage of like Orisa like just inting basically. So as you can see, they focus Muse. Looks like they're trying to spread out, but like Muse just dies so quickly that dragons don't even have to play defensive. They just spend 1 second destroying Muse. Like skewed pops EMP, sure, not EMP rally, and like sure we'll force like dragons to use a couple more ults. So maybe it's not the worst outcome for Glads. Like you did use rally, you're using flux, you're using every ult. But I mean like getting six like having 6 players EMP is probably worse. So well, I don't think it's a good play. It's not like the worst play they could make. The worst play they could make is if they just W'd every like in and like just allowed them to EMP it on rotation. That's gonna be really, really, really bad. I'd say the best play for them would just be like literally play like slow, try to set up Bird Ring on an angle, try to like have Kevster like somewhere near him so you can buy a bit of time for or like even like oh well sending skewed is a bit too risky, but like have Kevster and Bird Ring, and then you just try to like get a lucky kill on Izuyaki. That will like reduce Dragon's offensive pressure by a lot. So there's that. That's what they could have done. But over here, um like I mean they did force like a couple ults as well, like other than EMP. So not the worst fight, not the best fight though, not the best strategy to win. And like Glads are committing to this. As you can see, like it does make them a bit of space to work with, but the thing is like Orisa's died so quickly that like now like dragons can just focus on like clawing back these angles, and you can't really do much with like these angles in general because even though you do have like this map control, you don't really have like an Orisa to create a distraction, go for halt combos, so that type of stuff. So now that the Orisas died, this is big because like it just allows like Fate to very easily retake the space. Not to mention they're fighting like 6v5. So 5v6, so like now dragons are not inting. Okay, let me see what Fate is doing. Fate is a bit overzealous on going in the backline here, in my opinion. I think what Fate should have done is Fate should have like played a bit slower, just try to conserve his HP a bit, conserve adaptive shield. Well, he doesn't have it, but like just conserve his HP a bit, and then wait until like his team is ready to like do something with his engage or like his aggression. So like for example, wait until like Li Zhenggan has completed the rotation. Okay, let me actually see this. Like Dragons won this fight, but I want to see like why it was a bit like scuffed. Some I demand perfection. So over here, let's take a look at Fate. So they killed Muse. He is playing like slow pretty well. I think this is a bit too overzealous. What they should have done is probably like Fleta's like in the okay position, but without the backline in a good position, then like it's gonna be hard to actually get anything out of this like trade. So what they should do probably is Dragons, they should go up here, clear the high ground with their like Sigma and Brig Zen, and then like once they have all these angles, that's when Fate hard engages. During that time, what Fate could do is he could try to like help with like clearing this angle, but ideally like it is enough. Like Dragons could pop rally and clear the high ground really easily. Eventually they do recognize that that's the play, and they do that. So like as you can see, they're rotating up. That's when Fate should be engaging. Fate should not be back here. And then like that would be a really easy like pincer from Fate. So we see a slightly sloppy tempo management from Dragons. It does win. They do win in the end, but like it could like result in trans being forced out as well because like you know you don't have a ball and like yeah. So over here, now they're positioning like close again, and like remember what I said. If they want position like over here, they better make sure they're engaging like over here. Like they can't like int. They like this backline like all in all is not too brawly. So like they still have to like if they don't want to engage here, they should back up and you know just play the angle game for now and just like harass the enemy, force out cooldowns, and then push in. But over here, it looks like they think they can like engage hard, and like they might have saw like Glads commit all their ults, and they think, hey, in the neutral we couldn't like just hold here, and that might be why they were holding forward in the first place. But I want to see them commit to the strategy, and like what Kevster should be doing right now, you know, like even okay, so like Kevster's. Let's take a look at Kevster. So Kevster has a pulse bomb, sure. And now, like, oh, unfortunate. But, like, now, look at... Kevster's, like, doing a good job controlling this angle. Like, if Fate had this angle, this would just be game over. Like, this is a really good angle to stage from. And Lips, like, set up for this as well. It looks like Dragons are intentionally trying to finish the fight here. But, you can see? And, like, they probably think they have trans, but like trans isn't as good as like an offensive ult as rally is. Because trans you lose Discord. But like you can see, really clean play. Like clean play. Lip like Fate might be engaging from the front, but and like the power drive might have kind of failed, but okay, but like you know, they want to engage here. They follow up their plan. They have the map control. Really standard fight from Dragons, to be honest. But like every fight should be like a good team fight is boring. And like Gladiators might have not even like engaged from the proper angle. Like Fleta is over here. So they have the pincer, but like with Lip, but like strategically, like this is good from Dragons. How they staged for it was a bit like not ideal, but like players still died. I'm not sure why. Let's see what Space is doing. Okay, so like they're staying in this room. Like it looks like if Glads want to like play this slow, which they probably should, then I don't want them to like stay over here. This is too close. If like dragons are in engaged, then this provides like a really good brawling potential for like dragons. If Glads want to play slow and clear like this angle and poke them out, then they should like be actually like rotating wide and trying to just poke out like from here. And like this might be good for actually good because you see Fade and Flooded, they're not really in good angles. So like you could even maybe get Birdring up to like over here. Over here's a bit of a stretch because Discord and Sigma, but like over here is an possibility, and like they could have just like maybe gone a pick or two, and like Hanzo you can't trans that. Hanzo is a one shot on a squishy that is, but like right here, Glads are just positioning too close. Given that they don't have Rally to survive like the initial burst of damage, they should not be. They should be playing slow. They're not playing this what is essentially neutral fight correctly. Like they eventually do have to use this like trans to confirm the fight. They probably didn't have to use it, but we like to see it. Fate does overextend, doesn't really matter. I mean it does mean that like they can't like engage really forward. It means that Glads could like again spread apart and take angles. And that's probably what they should do for like they have one more fight. Over here, at least dragons do kite this. So like dragons lose 2 and Glads have respawn, so dragons are getting pushed back. Like they won the fight, but they took the fight really close to their spawn, so dragons did a good job fighting, but like let's see if like Glads could have punished us. Over here, like probably like I'd switch Orisa for like a ball because even though you don't have like Brig Zen, like in terms of catching these staggers, like that would be really good. Having a ball would be really good as like a temporary like pick, and then like you could then switch back to Orisa for like second or third point. But are we gonna see? Are we gonna see like Kevster go for like a deep pincer? It looks like Kevster is just trying to play this safe, but like dragons do kite this like in the nick of time. But wait, why did Kevster recall? Oh, he did take like quite a bit of damage, and Lips on that angle. That's also like someone needs to like mark Lip as well. Like at least like take care of like deal with this angle so Lip just doesn't slow things down. Because if you have someone on this angle like free, then like they're just gonna like slow like Glads' pursuit of like dragons. So like Kevster gets recall forced out. It might not have been like that big, but still. Anyways, to see they're trying to like go on a goose chase. And like it's gonna be hard for Glads to pursue this without like a ball, for example. But like dragons do like kite back in the nick of time. Now Fate, no, I mean like Lip actually pops EMP, and Fate's ready. So like the moment that like they're grouped to 6, like they know like dragons are gonna come back like pretty quickly. They die pretty early, so Glads should not just keep up this pursuit for long. Like once they know like they're at the point of no return, they should just try to set up angles. They should just try to like set up maybe space here, Muse plays here, and then like hopefully backline is together, and like you're gonna have And Kevster might just rotate to like around here and just try to like protect like this flank. But so like they should be setting up. So, I mean they are kind of
30
setting up
seconds
good,
remaining.
but like Kevster's like not in a good position to like do poke damage to Fate. Neither is Birdring in a good position right now. I mean, okay, let me see. Is this Birdring's fault? Was Birdring just late to the party?
By the dragon.
30 seconds remaining.
I mean, honestly, I kind of want Birdring like up here. Like even with the ball, like you still have break packs. Well, like you still have like one break pack that could be spent. I mean, like if you waste break pack for that, but not a waste. But I mean, like unless like Zen's like in the fight and has LOS of this like high ground, then I think I think like Birdring could just like go up here, shoot a bit, like do a bit of poke, and then like go down if needed. Or like at least Birdring should be playing more aggressively.
Blocked by the dragon.
30 seconds.
Now they okay. Let's see what happened. So eventually, like Glads do get EMP'd. Let's see if they use cooldowns for like the pursuit, so they can set up for the actual fight. Like Glads was forcing like Voids as cooldowns as well, so it's not all that bad.
30 seconds.
But okay. So I mean, like it's fine. They didn't really use too many cooldowns for the pursuit. Like Kevster almost has all three blanks back, so. But we're gonna see what happened here. So Kevster gets hacked, which is actually significant because you kind of would want Kevster over here to do some poke damage to Fleta, so that like Fleta can't just like hard pursue like Muse, and Shu doesn't get hacked. Where's Shu? Shu's coming back as well.
30
So
seconds
like
remaining.
that further supports like my hypothesis that like they should not have like just fought this like hard. They should have just like backed up a bit, set up their angles, and then like fight the fight when they have 6. Like an Immor could have like saved Muse's life here, and Kevster should not be like over here. So they're just able to get out of the EMP. Simple as that. So they killed 2. And like they do have window and rally. So okay, let's see who's alive. Birdring's alive. But like now that you know that like dragons have used like a lot of their cooldowns to get that. Now I think Birdring should be looking for like an aggressive angle. Like you have to like go for blood here. You have to like pop off. Like otherwise you just lose this fight. So like this would be the best time. This is like the only time you can do it. And let's actually look at Birdring's POV for the last 10 seconds. Because my general impression is that Hanzo did not get as much value. So Birdring wasted time like putting Dragon. Well, I mean this is fine. This is fine. But like Birdring jumps back instead of like maybe taking this high ground, which I'm not a big fan. Like Birdring's trying to punish Fate, sure, but okay, like what you should do is probably just tell Shu like there's a ball behind you, and Shu should be able to know that. So bit miscommunication, but he actually commits to jump to like get back. No more mobility.
10
I
seconds
mean he gets
remaining.
Fleta, but like no, okay, but like if you maybe he was worried about like Void might have tried to clear him if he like went here. Okay, let me see where Void was. Oh, I mean Void probably would have cleared him. That being said, okay, let me see. Sorry for like overanalyzing this. I mean, like, if he was, like, over here-ish, then I think he definitely could, like, even with, like, there is, like, a Sigma he could play under the high ground, and, like, if Sigma tries to, like, clear, then you could just give some packs to him. There's only, like, a Sigma threat, like, Ball Tracer out of the fight, and, like, you could just support him, help him try to, like, get a pick on Zen, which might change the fight. It might, because it's still 4v6. But, like, right here, he's just... In fact, by standing here, he's gonna take... Oh, he actually gets 2 as well. So he does get punished in the end. So Fate does get punished in the end. It should be Shu doing this, though. Could it be, like, could Shu do this alone? Or did he really need him? I think Shu could have just killed Fate, like, alone, honestly. While, like, Birdwing just takes this angle. And even if you... And even if Ball doesn't get killed, he's already used, like, Adaptive Shield. So, like, he's gonna be useless for, like, the next couple 10, 15 seconds. And he's gonna have to, like, rotate through a long sight line just to, like, get into the fight. So, honestly, I think Birdwing should have just taken the high ground. Like, early on, so he can get, like, a kill on Izuyaki. And, like, maybe kill Pressure Void so Skew doesn't die there. Probably does take the high ground, that could have been... But it's too late. Izuyaki already has trans. So it was critical. So Kevster kills Fleta. Looks good for Glads. Okay. Should Birdwing really be going for a lip here? It should be Space, like, trying to pressure lip. Or even Shu. I mean, like, it is a trans, so... like, I guess. Well, like, it is trans, but honestly, someone needs to be putting pressure on Lip in general here, and Birdwing's doing it, but Birdwing shouldn't be the one who has to, like, do it. Like, I was thinking, like, hey, like, why isn't Birdwing, like, just focusing on this, but I realize it's a trans. And sure, he could try, like, one-shot Li Zhenggan, but that's gonna be pretty damn difficult. So I'm okay for now. Just drop off. Okay, there's no reason he should, like, be alone with this. They just need to shoot, like, Lip once, and, like, he's gonna be forced out. Like, in any case, like, maybe Birdwing gets a pick on Lip, might be big, but I would prefer, like, maybe, like, if Birdwing was here, look, Izuyaki would be like more of a shot, or maybe you can like get more of a sight line on like well, from here it's gonna be difficult. But or like maybe you could like maybe even like try to like progress to here and get a good angle on this. Like the kill Izuyaki, Muse dies for some reason. Okay, let's see where Muse started the fight. Because Muse didn't have cooldowns there. So over here, they're looking to brawl into this. Sure. Okay, let me see. But like... you're equal. You're like 3v3. It doesn't give you a license to int, especially against their comp. Like you've got your like fortify and your shield forced out. I mean shield you're probably gonna use, but fortify it should not be forced out. And like, you could just I mean you kinda had to touch cart, sure. But instead of taking like you should just be like taking cover for a bit. Maybe and then like try like, juggle cart, try to like avoid damage, just try to like farm that wait until Space at least comes back, and then you can like commit like a bit more. That being said, Shu and They have Shu here, but which is, I mean, they are like 4v3, but they should be tracking like they're gonna have defensive ult. So, well, like I'd wait for space to come back. Even though like they had the touch card, they could have just played slow here, waited for space, and then taken like a better brawl. Or like they could have just played slow and prolonged the fight enough for Bird Ring to like get value. So I'm not sure. Like space dies as well. Because like space gets hacked. And like it looks like this like Sombra behind is poorly communicated. Like it's a big manual hack, but it shouldn't happen. And yeah, like just bad team fight management from Glads. Like they didn't wait for their team to like group up before like brawling. They committed too many cooldowns to like a shitty poke battle that they should not be taking. Like you know they're gonna have both support ults, so might as well instead of like inting, might as well like play to live and play slow. It's not like they have an EMP. You don't need to like do any out tempo shenanigans. You just allow Bird Ring to fuck. Sorry for like, you know, my four-headed way of describing, but if Bird Ring stays alive, then you win. Even with both support ults. So
Ready for battle. Ready for
so we're gonna see the roll on attack. Okay, now I'm not sure why Glad's like they don't have anyone like up here. Like first of all, like playing up here, you can the rotation isn't too bad. They don't have any like good verticality. I mean, like you know, maybe it's the Widow they're worried about, but on the other hand, like, should I be worried about the Widow that much? You do have, I mean, like Lip's going to kind of be a threat here, but like you could just put like a Sigma up here, for example. At least like be able to control like this area of the map with Kevster and make it so that like Fate can just push in and like easily just win. Or like if they, or like you know maybe they're like, hey, they have a Widow, so we want to like fight in these more medium length sightlines. So we're just gonna poke a bit here. But like if they want to do that, then they poke a bit, and then like the moment that like maybe like dragons will roll over them this position, they back up and like they try to take the poke battle over here. That's fine as well. That's an okay strategy. That might be what they're going for actually. But I would kind of prefer having the Sigma on high ground along with Bird Ring. Like you could use his shield to help against Widow. Especially as they don't have, well, they do have Zen, but your shield's just still gonna last for a bit. Hey, this is a bit close. They should be backing up right now. Now. You can see, like, now, dragons and, like, Glads aren't set up for, like, you know, to poke out dragons, like, from angles. So, they don't have, like, anyone on this high ground. They don't have this angle. They're kind of, like, in the open, clumped up like this. Which means that you're also going to be giving dragons a lot of space to stage, like, their eventual engagement against the Bap Zen backline. The Bap Zen backline, you really need to kite early. If they're running Bap Brig, maybe they could just, like, hold that corner, maybe. I wouldn't recommend it, because this comp's still going to be better at, like, these fights, but they could at least hold a bit closer. In this case, though, you have to hold pretty far back. Okay, how does Kevster die? Like, Kevster needs to be backing up as well. Kevster can't hold this angle forever. So it's good that they're clearing this angle before. Because Kepster does not have a right to be here, and this is very easy for Dragons to clear with their comp. So it's now a 65. Interesting. And as you can see, we don't really, like, Fate's not being punished, and why? We don't have, like, this angle. We don't have, like, any angle, like, that can access the high ground. So, like, Fate just uses it for free. And why is Void able to push to here? Like, why is the backline pushed so far up? Like, because there's no one here. There's no one on high ground. Yeah. And, like, they're just gonna now collapse onto, Glads. And yeah, easy win. Anyways, hope that was helpful. And yeah, peace out. It's been 1 hour review for an 8-minute game, but that's my niche.